Hi, my name is Ariana Daspan, and this is for Towson University's ISTC 674 TPACK case study presentation. I am a sixth grade math teacher at Golden Ring Middle School in Baltimore Public Schools, and I'm currently in the middle of Unit 1, which is based on numbers, and we just finished integers, and we're just now starting absolute value, and I created this lesson with the inspiration of TPACK and with the inspiration of UDL to create an effective lesson with numerous pieces of technology to not only engage my students, but to expand their minds and get them more comfortable with technology in the world that technology can offer. So where will we go during this presentation? So the essential question is, how can I use TPACK to effectively plan and reflect on my lesson? So this video blog or vlog is used for me to not only reflect on my lesson, but explain how my lesson effectively uses TPACK and UDL to create an effective lesson. And I will begin with describing the lesson. So again, like I had said before, this lesson is in the sixth grade curriculum. Two standards are covered. The first standard is absolute value. The second standard is positive and negative numbers used together to describe quantities, also known as integers, and using those in the real world. Within the lesson, I use reading strategies where we discuss vocabulary and we discuss our word wall. We also discuss the objective with the students. And at the end of class, the students will complete an exit ticket where their ability to interpret real-world information using absolute value, using integers, and using technology will be assessed. So the background of my students have shown mastery of plotting integers on a number line. They have shown mastery of finding opposites and finding a number's distance from zero, which tells me they are ready to begin using the real world to help explain numbers in ways that I haven't been able to explain to them yet. And we're going to use our nation's debt to explain integers and absolute value in the most meaningful way possible. My Mod 5-6 contains 20 students, one paraeducator, 11 boys, 9 girls. I have I have one student with a 504, and I have 6 students with IEPs where calculation devices, multiple breaks, and reduced distractions and preferential seating need to be accommodated for them. As far as the materials go, a lot of these materials can be completely technology-based. However, I wanted to also incorporate a UDL lesson where I have the option of technology and paper and manipulatives. So I'm going to just focus on the technology here. The technology that I'll be integrating in my lesson is the Elmo, projector, projection screen, Live School, which is our positive behavioral intervention system, our student devices, student desktops. I have backup desktops so students don't bring their own devices, BCPS1 Schoology, an online timer, Google, our online article, our President Debt Activity online, assistive audio reading program, which is also online, and BeSocrative.com, which I actually just did a project on. I'm really excited to start using it this week, and it's very similar to Kahoot. And last but not least, our US Debt Clock, which is really, going to expand our students' minds and connect math to the real world. And I'm really excited for them to use that debt clock because I have a feeling they're going to really look at it for a long time and enjoy it. So the drill will begin with students looking at the 4 vocabulary words that our lesson is based on. So I will be giving this drill online, however, I'll also offer it on paper. So students online can copy and paste Google Images, obviously using copyright, copyright labels to give credit where it needs to be given. They can also use their paint apps on their computer to draw what the vocabulary words mean. They can type the vocabulary words. They can videotape themselves or record themselves through audio. And that is their drill here to prepare them for the lesson. They also may type or write their definitions on that. So the next part of the lesson is students will go to BCPS1, also known as Schoology now, onto the lesson and then onto the lesson tile, where they will read an excerpt about our nation's debt. Now they have several options to take notes, but obviously I'm going to push technology because technology is so accepting and so fluid with student learning, to take notes online on a Word document or any document of their choice, or any app or note app of their choice. And again, drawing, diagrams, words, phrases, sentences, bullet points are all welcome to my students through technology. And then they have to answer. They don't have to answer necessarily, but they want to use these questions to guide their comprehension through the reading. So I have the questions there, again, electronically if they would like to, and they may add a few notes here and there. So what I'm really excited to use is the besocrative.com in this lesson. And the besocrative.com is not only an engagement piece, but it's also an assessment piece, and it's also where we tie in the curriculum as well. I pulled information from the reading, and the reading is right in front of us, about our nation's debt. And I'm going to scroll down to the printable version of besocrative.com that I created. And I asked several questions, whether they're true or false or multiple choice. But with besocrative.com, that I discovered this week is that I can also do short answer. So in this specific activity, I'm not doing short answer because students are already taking notes. The short answer is going to come back to us later on in the lesson in the exit ticket. But this is an example of our space race that you would see in the classroom, where students are engaged and they get to kind of race each other with this activity, but not in a way that rushes them, but in a way that engages them. And so that I can also see, as their teacher, where they are in the lesson, how quickly they're moving, how well they're doing. And besocrative.com is just one of those, it can do anything and everything for you, assessment and engagement and content technological website for me to use. Going through the lesson is the notice aspect, and I like to incorporate AVID procedures in my class. So in AVID, they like to notice and wonder and take notes. So they've already taken notes before in reading comprehension. And also I would offer the AVID Cornell notes as well, where the essential questions are there, the notes and vocabulary. So in the notice, students will use our US debt clock, and that is a website that I will show you now. That shows our nation's debt to the second. We are very much in debt. And in this, students get to look at the numbers going up and going down. Obviously, the red numbers are going down, the green numbers are going up, and students have learned about integers, and they're learning about absolute value, and they're learning about change. So this is something that I'm going to give them a significant amount of time, because they could honestly watch this all day. I love how excited that my students can get with just real world information. So they haven't seen this yet, so I'm so excited to show them. Hopefully they're excited. But based on the fact that they always ask me about what's going on in the world and how they connect it to, I made this lesson around my students and their excitement about the world around them, and how, I always try to beat them to the punch when they say, Miss Daspan, why am I learning this? Like, how can I use this in the real world? So I always try to beat them to the punch. And so as of right now, I'm beating them to the punch with integers and absolute value. All right, moving back to the lesson. They will, again, they can do this through technology. They will write or type or draw or show a diagram of one piece of information that they noticed and one piece of information that they are wondering about. And all of these documents they can submit online. They can also record their voice and submit that online as well. Through their student device, making videos just like I am, or they could use Screencast-O-Matic if they would like to, because it's offered free online. The last part of the lesson, which is more of the independent practice before the exit ticket, is again offered online. And students will use the website link that is provided here about our U.S. national debt year by year. So they not only get to learn about presidents, they get to learn about what's happening in those years. The debt, was it a positive or negative change, the absolute value of the change. And then what I enjoy about this part is that towards the end, if they're finished early, they get to choose a president of their choice and learn about what happened that year. Why did our nation's debt go up or down? What caused that? So I'm not only linking math to history, but I'm linking math to economics and the world around us today and in the past, possibly in the future. And last but not least, again, everything is offered online, the exit ticket. So the exit ticket, they are looking at a piece of information very similar to what they did in their independent activity. And they need to tell me using words or phrases or diagrams or pictures to explain why is George Washington's debt a good thing when it is negative? And I'm trying to get the students to realize that he subtracted the debt from the cumulative debt. Um, and that was honestly the main focus of my lesson. So I will go back here to our PowerPoint. So the strengths and weaknesses of the lesson and the technology. The technology, has truly offered a UDL experience for my students. If reading or writing is troublesome for them, they have audio. They have audio abilities within the lesson, and I list that through our assistive audio reading program. And that's something that any student can use, whether they have learning disabilities or not. Some people just prefer to listen to things. In every article, all they have to do is simply copy and paste the article into the audio assistive program, and it will read that for them. So other strengths in the lesson is that it's engaging, it's connecting to the real world, and that the technology is user-friendly. I am always there in the lesson to help the students move along. At the same time, though, I am not direct instructing like practically ever in the lesson. The students and the technology are moving and grooving and just expanding their minds. How do the students benefit from the technology? They become more independent. Sixth graders are very dependent on the teachers, and I'm trying to provide as many pieces of technology to support their learning and thinking processes so that they complete this on their own. Not because I don't love them, but I want them to be more independent adults where they can use these opportunities to grow and to ask and to find these answers on their own. So how is a lesson expressed through TPACK? So TPACK truly helped me, make this lesson more meaningful for my students. So there are several aspects of TPACK, and I use Claire's YouTube video that was posted to our Blackboard site that I will also cite within this blog. There's pedagogical knowledge, where the teacher's understandings of the principles of the instruction are used when I decide which activities I decide to use and how I want to effectively teach that lesson. The content knowledge is used when the dynamic of where my lesson falls within the unit is used. So right now, I know that my students have mastered integers, and I know that we're going to move on to absolute value, and we can combine those two knowledges to learn about the world around us. PCK, which is a pedagogical content knowledge, informs my decisions when teaching specific content standards to my students. And I listed those two standards earlier. So I'm very aware of the standards that I need to teach, and I'm very aware of how my students are learning and how I can combine those two, what I need to teach and how I need to teach it together in my lesson. Moving on to technological knowledge. I'm someone that graduated from college in 2014, so I'm very much with the times of UDL, and technology was constantly used in my college experience. It's constantly used in my graduate experience. Thank you so much for letting me do a video blog, and I'm constantly using it in my classroom. I hate the beginning of the year when students don't have their student devices because I love technology. And I can't wait to get the students on those devices and getting them independently learning and moving and growing on their own. So moving on with the TPACK model, TCK is the technological content knowledge, where I work to gain my mastery of my subject knowledge through technology. So I'm constantly using the BCPS curriculum online and all the resources they offer online, and using different pieces of technology to push my curriculum to my students in various ways. TPK is a technological pedagogical knowledge, where I use technology as a tool for instruction and to support student learning. So supporting is something that I, is something I'm a huge advocate for because I have a degree in special